Whether Geraldine saw that speeding car coming from her right, we will never know. But the impact was horrific, just horrific. The passenger door took the full impact. The car was almost ripped in half. Stephanie was pushed over so far, she was almost in her mother's lap, still clutching her little teddy. She carried this around with her everywhere she went, still in her hands. Her little skull was crushed. She died instantly. Geraldine was barely conscious after the impact. A passerby had rushed over to be of assistance to her. Found out later this woman was a nurse who worked in the emergency room of a hospital. She told me, she described to me what she saw that evening. She said Geraldine obviously had some kind of a scalp injury. Her face was just drenched in blood. She had lacerations all over her body. Her back, we found out later, her back was broken. Her right arm was broken. Her pelvis was broken in 5 different places, just shattered. Compound fractures of both legs. She had to have been in excruciating pain. And then this Good Samaritan described my cousin to a T. She says, I never heard her cry. I never heard her moan. But I did hear her say one thing. I asked her what that was. She said, I heard her say Stephanie's name once, kind of in a whisper. Stephanie. That was the mother that was my cousin. And then she closed her eyes and slumped in her seat and joined Stephanie in heaven. The speed of that car, that truck, that was driven by an underage drunk driver named Gene, was estimated to be doing anywhere from 90 to 95 miles an hour. This was in a 45-mile-an-hour zone. He had a blood alcohol level of 0.204, almost 3 times the legal limit. How does someone that young get that drunk? Well, I'll tell you. Business was a little slow that Saturday. So he buddied up with a bunch of his friends who had just purchased a brand new big screen TV, and they sat around watching college football, drinking beer all afternoon. And I bet you his friends knew he wasn't 21 yet. But they let him drink because he did it all the time. And he never hurt anybody. Till now. I remember the scene at the funeral home. I've never seen so many flowers outside of a florist. You walked in, room full of people, flowers everywhere. And there's Leo, sitting in that little love seat, that's always in the front, staring at this 2 closed caskets in front of him, the bronze on the right and the little white one on the left. Pictures very similar to these on easels in front, just adorned in flowers. He's just sitting there staring, waiting for this nightmare to be over, and it was just beginning. It was just beginning. Off to his left is in a little adjoining room. There's Andy, running around, being tended to by Geraldine's younger sisters, my other cousins. He has no clue. He has no clue what's going on. He won't remember his mother. He won't remember his big sister. He won't. Aside from what people tell him as he gets older, videotapes that he might watch on TV, photo albums that he might leaf through, he won't know them. He won't feel their love and their compassion and their friendship. That in and of itself is a tragedy. Put somebody up here you know. Somebody you love, somebody you care about, somebody you would really miss if they weren't here tomorrow. We had a family reunion not too long ago, last July, as a matter of fact. Geraldine's parents were there. We marveled at how none of us looked older. And we also gave thanks to those who were there and remembered those who weren't. The ones who were our elders, and we knew they weren't going to be there. But then we remembered the ones who should have been there.